Thank you. So as we've talked about a couple of times already, we often when we come to practice, we are encouraged to follow the breath. And when we do Hakomi practice, sometimes we have an exercise called monkey mind, in which we ask people just to count the breath. And it's a really deep practice, because what comes up is how difficult that actually really is to just count the breaths. So it's a wonderful practice to count the breaths. And we feel the breath and we stay with it. And this brings us a certain understanding of the nature of our mind. The breath as the object of attention. And then there's something that can shift when we begin to see the breath as a gateway. And this is what Jess was speaking to earlier in the somatic practices that we do. So the body breathing you, in a way, being breathed by the breath, which feels to me like a little bit more of a subtle quality of understanding the breath. Total engagement that is not dependent on external conditions other than being in air, but arises from within, an emergent property of our harnessed presence. And this kind of presence reforms our understanding of ourselves. It uncovers and recovers our original nature. And with that, for me, always comes beauty. One of my Sanskrit teachers says, it's not just our duty to care for the world, to take good care. It's also our duty to enjoy it. I really love that. To participate in its beauty. To harness our senses in a balanced and cohesive way, so that we can be guardians of this shimmering, fragile, expanding field of life. Guardians of this shimmering, fragile, expanding field of life. Suzuki Roshi once wrote, "What we call I is just a swinging door, which moves when we inhale and when we exhale. When we inhale, the air comes into the inner world." Try it. When we exhale, the air goes out to the outer world. Actually, there is just one whole world. And to breathe is really to participate in this wholeness. To breathe with awareness is to dissolve the boundary between inside and outside, self and other. He goes on further. When we follow this movement, there is no thing, no I, no world, no mind, no body, just a swinging door. To be aware of the movement does not mean to be aware of your small self, but rather of your universal nature, your Buddha nature. So the breath helps to remind us that we're not fixed. We're not just who we think we are. We are each moment, breath by breath, inside and outside. He also says, when you practice Zazen, there is no idea of time or space. What you are doing is just sitting and being aware of the universal activity. Just sitting, enacting a ceremony, encouraging the awareness of universal activity, encouraging Zazen. And that's enough. No need to achieve anything, no need to get anywhere. Just this moment, this breath, just this swinging door of being. So, yeah, have some more words, but I think that's probably enough. Let's practice it. And because it's the afternoon, I want to invite you all to lay down on your zabuton. Get one or two of these for your tailbone. And those of you who are at home, please feel free to lay down if you can. Take us with you so you can hear the instruction, or stay seated in a chair if that's better for you. You can do this in a chair as well. So I'll just show you how I like to lay down. You can remove your zafus and then use this to kind of scoot so that you have enough cushion. And then feet wide apart, knees touching together. Take your time. You can get set up wherever you feel most comfortable. You can get a little pillow for your head if you need it. With the feet flat on the floor, open the feet wider than the hips and then let the knees come together to touch. And this will help your back to just kind of relax. Ooh, I like what you're doing. Okay, so let's start actually. Jess just gave me a great idea. Start with the cactus shape arms and just feel how that helps your chest to open, right? So just a little bit of a chest opener here. Yeah, you can also just extend your legs if that's more comfortable for you. You can try both and see which one you like. Just putting it here for... So you can rest it down. Yeah. So as you're here, just breathing into your chest opening. Just take a few deep breaths to see where you feel your breath here. Just noticing. And then whenever you're ready, allow one hand to rest on your heart, one hand to rest on the low belly, just like we did this morning. Take your time, take support. If your elbows need support here, use your cushions. We'll be here for a little while. So let your body have what it needs to rest. So with the feedback of your hands, just notice now where you most notice your breath without judgment, just right now, right here, without trying to fix it or change it. Which hand raises first? Is there movement at all? Allow your breath to lead as you just invite the breath now lower into the belly. Let the feedback of that hand resting on the low belly tell you a little bit something about how your body is breathing. As you inhale, see if you can Let the hand rise into the air. Let the balloon of your belly become very full. And then as you exhale, just gently notice the dropping of the belly, the dropping of the chest. So 3 breaths here, just feeling the feedback of your body breathing. Draw your awareness now to that hand that's resting on the low belly. And as the hand rises and falls with the exhalation, invite a pause at the end of your exhale. Nothing forced, just notice the natural pause. When you're ready to breathe in, please do so. Let this breath be natural, unrestricted. And the natural pause at the base of the exhalation draws the belly, the low belly, in to a center point. Just notice it, let your awareness light on it like a butterfly lights on a flower, and then let it go. Let it fly away and take your breath in. The body breathing in its own natural rhythm. If you watch a baby as it sleeps, this is what the baby's belly does. So before we're told how to breathe, our bodies just know. Let your belly be as soft as a baby sleeping. As soft as it was when you were a baby and you knew how to breathe. At that subtle moment of the pause at the end of the exhalation, at this concentration of energy at your center, imagine there's a light deep within you, right underneath your hand at the center of your body. With every inhale, it's like you're blowing onto some coals. You're just allowing the breath to ignite the spark. And with every exhale, that light is expanding out from inside of you. It starts small, like one tiny star in the imperceptible space, and then begins to grow. This light, this spark, is you. Allow yourself to eventually become so restful, so sure of the spark that even the idea of watching the breath drifts away. Standing, walking, sitting, or lying down, we are enacting a ceremony. The ceremony we are engaged in right now is encouraging Zazen. No idea of time or space, just being aware of universal activity. Just resting, just breathing. Feasting on your life, just as it is. Slowly, more slowly than you think you should, begin to bring awareness back to that lower hand, breathing on the belly. Which is breathing, the hand or the belly? Take a deep breath. Begin to bring your awareness back into the room. Slowly, slowly begin the tiniest of movements, maybe just wiggling a toe. You can windshield wiper your knees at some point and just gently bring movement into your hips. Prepare in the next 5 to 10 years to roll over onto one side. And then when you're ready, come on up to a seat. So I'd love to invite you to just get into triads now. We'll let everybody come back from the online space. See if you can pair up with 1 or 2 people you haven't talked to yet. This might be your last chance. And just go and slowly come back into space time together and talk about what that was like. Share a little bit about your experience if you have anything to share. How much time do we have?
About 30 minutes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'd love to hear what came up in your discussion.
One thing is all three of us had no sense of time, whether it was an hour or 5 minutes. And that was interesting.
So Suzuki Roshi's statement, when you practice Zazen, there is no idea of time or space. Okay.
Did everyone feel that?
So you were practicing Zazen. All right.
The other one more thing is there's this thing about the appropriate action, and when you're tired, sleep. You know, when you're hungry, eat, and when you what's the third one?
Lonely? Hungry and halt, right?
Amazing.
Well, when the other one comes up, then do that.
We missed it, but you know, if it would be embarrassing to repeat it, we understand.
He said when you're lonely, and then there was a blank.
Dot, dot,
Dot,
dot.
dot, dot. Okay, got it.
Marla, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was so wonderful. I had been struggling with some pain in my back, which is normal for long sitting days. And that was exactly chef's kiss. And then in our group, we started talking about how did we even get on that, Becky? About the nature of different sanghas and how sort of alternatives to traditional practice are so welcome and accepting of differences between people and bodies and techniques and the introduction of concepts of Hakomi and other things at Appamada. I was just expressing how grateful I feel to be able from Minnesota to practice with Appamada so deeply. So we kind of went off on that tangent of gratitude rather than specifically talking about our experience on the floor, but I think you get it.
Yeah, I love tangents of gratitude. I feel like that should be a song. Yeah, Jean.
It was wonderful. It was exactly what I needed. I could feel my joints stiff from sitting, and this was wonderful. Just laying there, and then the dogs thought it was too much, my laying there, so they came to bring their toys to me. But then Nell and I, we had such a great discussion. Like it went from how much this breathing exercise that you did with us, that just the way, the gentleness of your voice, and it felt so soothing, and it helped with whatever we were going through. And then we went into, talking about self-compassion and the gift of presence with breath, and with the gift of presence to ourselves. Now, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but That's what I'm saying, what I got from our discussion. It was really beautiful. And thank you, Jessica. I love the way you lead. Your voice is so soothing. I could just listen to it.
Thank you,
I
Dee.
should have taped it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what I said was that I think that Appamada should take up having a lying practice once a day. I think it would be good for all of us.
Yeah. John, Eric, and I said we need naps and then cookies. In that order. So we're on board.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Becky. Folks in the room here, any comments? I love the ease that's in the room right now. It feels really good.
I'll say like over the last couple of days, you know, our body's been in you know, a typical form, you know, like something like this for a long amount of time, you know, and I think our bodies think like you were saying, like if we're all the time like this, like at work or something, it's important to be like this and move. And so I think the yoga and the I think the yoga and the movement and what we did just now is like a very restorative balance to our practice. And um, yeah, so I think that was, I mean, that's probably what compassion looks like, right? Like if we're all sitting like in the same, you know, on the cushion in a certain way to be able to lie down. And I think kind of Jean was saying that, you know, like that's just what compassion looks like, and having that kind of each day. I was saying like in the morning, having the gentle yoga um, definitely like loosened things, and I was like more, my body felt more alive and ready to sit. So um, that's what came up for me, is the kind of that is an important piece.
Mhm. The support, the breath and movement seem to really add to your sitting shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we were talking in our group just about how um, in different traditions, it's there is an array of practices that a person will do, and not just meditation. And so I think it's a helpful reminder. Like I was saying, you know, I've always appreciated Ram Dass, and he was very focused on his spiritual growth. And then he said, um, you know, he had a stroke. And then afterwards, he was like, well, I wasn't taking my medications because I was so focused just on my spiritual practices, and I didn't think it was that important. But now I've learned from that and just how important the body is to contain and to support our spiritual growth. And so having that balance of movement, exercise, taking our medication, you know, all of it supports our meditation, right?
Yeah.
So that was a helpful, instead of just coming to for the weekend and just sitting, then the underlying message is just to sit, right?
Mhm.
So anyways,
Yeah.
thank you.
Be in the skin bag here and now,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, Jess, if you're available for one more question, because you and I have been talking about the hara.
Yeah.
And yeah, how was it for you breathing into that lower belly space, because of what you've been studying?
I think it's become more natural.
Mm.
I think also when we're at rest, it just, like you said, it just naturally happens. Maybe when I'm at work, I'm breathing up here. Um, And I just find it like an anchor, like we can be aware of the totality of our being, but having a place just feels like an anchor in my body to like, okay, so that's, yeah,
I love that.
helpful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Mana.
So, in our group, we were talking about stomach aches,
Mm.
and when Jess, you were talking about Ram Dass and this awareness of taking care of our bodies, that's kind of a discussion that we were talking about in our group. That sometimes, you know, a, a stomach ache is an alarm bell, can be an alarm bell for things being out of balance.
Right.
And we were talking about just something as basic as breathing can be a way to bring things back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the image that you shared about a baby breathing, that it's just so natural and so almost unconscious. And I shared in my group that sort of this idea reminded me of what I've heard a panic attack sounds like, right? And that it's just this inability to breathe, and just the fix being, just trying to focus on your breath and trying to slow it down and things like that. So yeah, so all of that kind of came up in our group, and it was really interesting. And to another thing I talked about was in our group relates to what you just asked Jess, and I don't have a lot of experience or study with Hara, but I shared in our group that I have tried to work on breath work for a couple of years. And I was surprised this morning when you had us focus on, belly versus chest, that I was already there. And when Jess said that it's come more natural to him, like I was like, it felt like, it's a natural thing. And and I don't necessarily think that that's how I was approaching the first day of this intensive, right? That's not where I felt.
Yeah.
So yeah, like all of that was swirling around and what I was thinking and talking to our group about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. I wanted to offer one other thing because the way that we experienced that, I didn't give us a whole lot of words to remember or even definition of what the hara is. But here's one way that you can actually feel into it. If you place a hand on your low belly, and then just cough. Feel that? Boom. It draws in right there. Or clear your throat. Just does it. It just does it. That's the action, actually. So the more we deepen in these, and this book is really actually quite deep in these practices. But the more we deepen in these practices, the concentration of the energy in this area is like that. It's not that you have to do that action, but a lot of, or like if you're about to, you see somebody needs help pushing a car off of a person, you're like, it's going to come from right there. And that's where our action is actually coming from when we're walking in Kinhin, when we're sitting in Zazen, or when we're laying down, or when we're standing. That's the awareness of, this is where I draw in quickly and where my power is in my body. So some practices, you'll see some breath practices that are quick bursts like that through the nose, like breath of fire, things like that, right? That helps you get in touch with what's going on here. How am I relating to this center of me? So I encourage you to explore that any amount that feels interesting to you. Oh, hi, Nelda. Sorry, I couldn't see you there.
I just now raised my hand, Jessica. I have wonderful takeaways from this practice, just amazing, especially breathing out into the outer world, breathing in the outer world. But that's not my question. How does Sahara relate to the chakras? Is it just a different name for that chakra area, or is it a different view entirely of that chakra area?
Wow, Nelda, I feel like you and I could just have an entire retreat on this together, right? That's such a beautiful question.
Oh, then let's next weekend.
Okay. So physically, it is in the sacral area, the second chakra, but yeah, what you've asked is such a deep question, because is it just this area of the body, or is it an emanation of all of the energy centers in alignment that moves in and around us? So I really appreciate that question, and I think maybe that's a wonderful thing for you to sit with and feel. Gorgeous. Thank you. Ava.
I just wanted to say that a few days ago, I have not had any intention of attending 2.5 days. To me, maybe feels like maybe 5 weeks of intensive. When the last time I attended one intensive was maybe 10 years ago, for a few days, and then I kind of completely drop out. I felt that urge because I have been having, you mentioned, Manuel, about panic attack, and I didn't think about the word panic attack, but I think it's partly what it is. It was panic attack that with the bombardment of the onslaught of the destruction of the system, the world, and just the senseless. There's no word to describe it, and other than just like, wow, I'm in awe of this
Terror.
terror. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel the need. And then when I speak to people, neighbors, friends, I don't know if they are with me or not with me. So that kind of disorientation is very frightening, actually. And I feel the need. I feel the need to do something. And my natural inclination has always been connection and do more, reaching out. But then I also know that it's always been difficult, for me to just like go all the way out. And when I saw the word breath, actually embodiment, I thought, you know what, I need to breathe. So I come to this really literally like one day of preparation, not having done much meditation for a long time, actually. Like this kind of meditation that feels like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I came here, and I have to say that from the moment I met Daniel, and just the sense of being in a community, like, oh, these are my people. I just feel I can breathe. And then this beautiful practice, of embodiment, where I feel like, I breathe in all the sorrow, all the despair that every one of us here, stomach ache, and that body ache and headaches, just breathe in with everybody collectively and I breathe out, you know, and I think that that's a gift.
Yeah, that's the medicine. Thank you, Ava. That's so beautiful. How are we on time?
We have time for a short Kenyan and then another Zazen period.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, so much for bringing yourself so fully.